Yeah.
Welcome, everyone. I'm really excited for today's conversation. We have here today Sree Sreenivasan, the CEO and co-founder of Digimentors, a digital consultancy that's helped Fortune 500 companies, nonprofits, and global entrepreneur summits level up their digital engagement through training and events. Um, so tell me, what does what's kind of for people who don't know, what's kind of your role at BG Mentors? What does your day to day look like?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on your show. I believe this is one of your first episodes, so congratulations on the podcast.
Thank you.
I believe there are great ways to reach new audiences and also to expand your brand. And also, people love hearing stories. So
Hmm.
I'm delighted to be with you.
Absolutely.
My work at Digimentors kind of reflects my life's mission, which has been to help people understand and use technology when the people who make the technology make things too hard and too complicated and too problematic for everyday people. So that's where I want to come in the middle between those folks and to help. So how did I do that? I've spent 20 years as a professor at Columbia Journalism School teaching digital media and helping journalists understand technology because then the journalists then go out and explain it to the world. I was for more than a dozen years an on-air TV reporter on local news in New York. I was on NBC, CBS, ABC, talking about the early days of the internet, really. And I did the first story about kayak on television. I did the first story about Roomba on television, and lots of things like that. And then writing articles. I wrote more than 40 articles for the New York Times about the early days of tech. And so that was my background. Worked then as a first chief digital officer of Columbia University, working on the future of education. Then the chief digital officer of the Metropolitan Museum, the first one there, as working on the future of culture. And then working for the city of New York as the third chief digital officer, working on the future of cities and citizens. And that's what I had done. And along the way, I'd helped a lot of companies, big and small, with their social media, with their digital media, with their strategy. And I decided to start my own small business, a consulting firm, training firm. And along the way came AI, and so generative AI, and so we started helping people with that. And I do workshops around the world. In the 3 years since, less than 3 years since Gen AI has been around, I've
Hmm.
done my non-scary guide to AI workshops in 25 cities and 18 countries.
Wow, that's incredible. So it's just a lot of learning and teaching and keeping up to trends, and that's incredible. How do you do it? How do you keep up with it?
Well, partly by being online way too much, not
Mhm.
sleeping enough. Those are all not good things. But partly because people know that this is what I do. People send me things all the time to read. But people they can go on their phones to doom scroll. I just go into my messages and people are sending me things. So I can doom scroll just my own stuff,
Oh,
or
nice.
just what people are sending me. But people say, "Hey, I saw this. Have you seen it?" And then someone else will send it, and they'll say, "Oh, that's interesting." And then what I'll do is I'll use it to teach myself, teach my clients, teach my audiences. I also have a newsletter I write every Sunday. It's on Substack. It's called sreenet.substack.com, Sree Sunday Note. There's also a LinkedIn version of the same thing. And I have a podcast where every Sunday I read aloud the Sunday New York Times print edition, like a crazy person, doing it
Mhm.
on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and on digimentors.group. So all of this is to say I'm eager to hear new ideas or new takes on old ideas and then help send it back out into the world so that people can benefit from that.
That's awesome. It's great to have that benefit, especially since not everyone, everyone gets caught up in their day-to-day lives. They get busy and they don't always have the time, but you help show them like how it matters in their life and how to actually apply it. So, yeah, that's incredible.
Thank you.
So, on your website, there's on your AI page, there's actually two images that really capture your journey. There's one from 1998 teaching people how to use the web, and then another one in 2023, you're showing now you're teaching generative AI. So when you look back on that, I'd say what stayed consistent in like how you approach teaching these paradigm shifts and like what's different now.
Well, first of all, you're a good interviewer because you went and found that. That's pretty
Mhm.
incredible. So, and it's pretty hilarious because lot didn't lot some things are consistent, but mostly what strikes me is what's not consistent. I lost all my hair. I put on a lot of weight. I also the computers have changed. If you look in there, there's a really big fat monitor desktop computer, and then there's someone in the audience who one of my students had a laptop, and every time she'd open it, we'd go ooh because
Oh.
it was so great to have that. But she didn't have a place to plug in because the building didn't have enough places, in the room plug in, and so the laptop would die in 30 minutes. So it was kind of funny. So go all the way out here now, and where we are in this world, like this technology is changing so fast, and it's very special that I've had a front row seat at all of these changes. I used to teach classes on how to use Google. Well, before that, how to use email, then how to use Google, how to use the web. Then came blogging, then came social media, and then came all the generative AI. So that's been the kind of the journey, and trying to help people understand all of that stuff.
Incredible. Yeah,
Mhm.
for a younger person like me, it's kind of like it's all stayed the same since I can remember. And then, like, it's a few smaller changes, maybe something's a bit flatter. But then, like, AI is like the next biggest thing where you can say, like, this is the next, like, transformative shift. So, yeah, it's quite incredible. And you've seen it all.
Well, thank you. Well, one of the ways to just go back to exactly what you're saying,
Hmm.
it's been 23 years since we had the Roomba. 23 years. How much has it really changed? Not only has it not changed much in your lifetime, it hasn't really changed in its 23 years. I covered it since the time I covered it. It hasn't changed that much. So that tells you that some technology is incremental in its changes, and then some of it is just so dramatic. And sometimes it's hard to understand which one is which and what's happening. But
Hmm.
when the Roomba came out, it was pretty cool. And now it's still around. Like a lot of people make it. It's kind of like, oh, everybody has a Roomba, just like everybody has a laptop. I was
Hmm.
just at the University of Miami teaching a class, and everyone obviously had a laptop. Everyone had a MacBook. It was very similar.
Exactly. That's another good point, right? As it ages, it becomes more accessible to everyone. Hmm.
Yeah.
So next, so you host your AI workshop and your New York Times read along. Those are great client-facing innovations. How are you thinking about evolving those, if they need any, to drive deeper client retention in a world where AI tools are everywhere?
Yeah, it's hard. So what I say is I work on not on people who are doing AI, but I work for people who are having AI done to them,
Mm.
meaning that they are suffering the consequences of it. Because I think there are going to be such huge consequences of AI that it's going to be fantastic. It's going to do such great things in medicine and science, in health and industry, in finance. It's going to do amazing things. It already has done amazing things. But at the same time, it's going to cause utter devastation in jobs, in misinformation, disinformation, the way people see the world. And no politicians are talking about it. Humans, everyday humans are not talking about it. Companies are not talking about world leaders are not. We're too busy fighting ourselves when it's like this threat is getting ready to attack us, and we're all like fighting over nonsense.
Mhm. Absolutely. So how do you like focus on like which one is important, especially since, as you mentioned before, you have a ton of people sending you different ones and you're learning them. How do you decide like this is what I should teach about? Is it based on your clients or is it think about like what's gonna impact the most or something different?
Well, I do all of it. I want to learn. So my first student, the first recipient of all my knowledge is me. And I want
Mhm.
to see if it'll benefit me and if I can use it. What I've understood is that people will use technology if it fits in their daily lives, both their workflow and their life flow. If it's only in work, then it doesn't really take off. If it's only in play, it doesn't really take off. It has to be in both. And
Hmm.
so that's one of the things I look for.
I see. Yeah, that's a good way to reach like the general audience, especially like if you're writing news articles, right? It gets you hyper specific and then it gets lost. Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm. So you launched Digimentors in 2017 with Andrew Lee.
Hmm.
They're your three
Hmm.
chief digital officer roles. Uh,
Yep.
I guess how did you translate the lessons from teaching at Columbia and your other roles into helping launch that into what it does today?
Well, I think that what I've been doing has really worked together. And let me just sing Andrew's praises. Andrew had an internet business in the spring of 1994. I mean, that is so early. Just remember that Google didn't exist till 98. Yahoo didn't exist till 95. And so that's how early he was to all of this. And so he was my teacher and guide and counsel through all of this because he made it all possible for me to understand. He's an actual technologist. He has two computer science degrees from Columbia. I have none. I like to say I'm not a I'm not an engineer, but I play one on TV.
Mhm. That's a good way to put it, but I mean, it
Yeah, and
helps.
so he really helped me understand technology in the early days, and then kind of to gain my confidence to go out in the world and talk about tech and all of that. And so we still work together on a lot of projects. He's also one of the world's biggest experts on two things, and it's hard to be the world's biggest expert on one thing, let alone two. And
Mhm.
one of them is the Chinese internet and what's happening there with the Great Wall, the Great Firewall of China, and all these Chinese tech companies. And the second is all about Wikipedia, and he wrote one of the they wrote the first book about Wikipedia and what it means and where it's going.
Wow, that's incredible. So you've had a long relationship with him and stuff, correct?
With him, yeah, yeah. I was best man at his wedding, etc. Yeah.
Hmm. That's good. That's really good. But yeah, it's good to have that kind of gap over that um I guess overlay because then it really
Yes,
helps simplify topics, especially, you
for
know.
sure, for sure.
Mhm. I guess your work with diverse clients from nonprofits to corporates. Um, what's one tweak or in your training process that's proven most effective for helping teams internalize digital strategies long term?
Main thing is to understand that technology strategy is like any other strategy. Does it make business sense? Does it help the audience, your customers, and does it help your employees? That's all what it's about. In the future, we won't call it digital strategy, we'll just call it strategy. The
Hmm.
we used to there used to be these newsletters that people would buy. They like pay for a newsletter and come in the mail, and it would be highly highly customized, very important, deep dive into certain subjects. Now we don't say I have a digital newsletter, I just have a newsletter. And it's obviously electronic, right? Like that was what will happen with business, that all things will be business around it. And so it's going to be pretty cool if you kind of think about how that works. And so what I tell people is I need you to understand the big picture, the direction of something, rather than worry just about the specifics and the button pushing. Like when I used to teach early days of the internet, like the what buttons you push sort of don't matter. It's really about understanding the arc of technology, where it's going, what it can do, and directionally how you can bet not necessarily the whole company, but bet your work so that it can in fact be successful.
Absolutely. And I guess speaking from your experience and who you work with, where do you see that going in the next couple of years?
Well, we do a lot of work with the UN. We do work with nonprofits, not for profits, individuals who have projects to sell. Like if you're selling an idea, a topic, sorry, an idea, a product, or a service, I can help you. I can help you understand what your market is and help you get it out there. Because that's what I've had the benefit of doing for most of my life. and that's what I want to help people with. And we know that technology keeps changing, the people behind it keep changing, but there are certain things that you can do that are consistent, and that's how we try to help people. I have this theory I call the two footprints. We all have a physical footprint of people who know and love us, and then there's a digital footprint, which is everybody else in the world. And if you don't increase your digital footprint, you're leaving opportunities, impact, money, resources on the table, and you don't want to do that.
I see. So I would say, how do you, for some companies, right? Nothing's too small for the internet. Everyone needs a digital online presence.
Mhm,
So for how do you,
mhm.
um, I guess, work with people who kind of have difficulty transitioning that over, or do you work with others who are kind of later in that stage?
We work with everybody. We work with folks who are just getting started to establish brands. To I work with the Nobel Prizes, so all kinds of folks along that spectrum of people who are known, not known, just getting started, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
Mhm. So since there's so many people that you work with, I'd say, is there anyone that's kind of like particularly challenging, or do you just there's a way to figure out the strategy for anybody?
Yeah, I think anybody I can help. I really believe that. At the same time, I'm not going to tell you my problem clients because that's not going to be good. Well, people
Hmm.
pay us to be quiet, to not share things. So I will not do that. But I will say that I believe that every client that I work with, I learn something I can take back to all my other clients. Not the confidential information, not the private information, but trends, ideas. And then that cross pollination is a big, big reason that I've been successful and being able to do what I'm doing. So I encourage everybody to think like that. There's a lot of specialization in the world, and that's good. But because I'm a journalist, I like to be a little more generalist, and that has benefited me enormously.
I can imagine. I can imagine so,
Mhm,
because even if you look at someone like Da Vinci, right? He was in so many different disciplines that,
mhm.
it kind of it does make sense. You can take lessons from one thing and put it somewhere else that may not seem related, but the principle still applies.
Well, that's very kind. I'm not even going to mention
Mhm.
Mr. Da Vinci in in my life or not in the same planet, literally. So I will move on from that. But thank you. The only
Of
thing he and
course.
I have in common is I apparently he didn't sleep a lot, and I don't sleep a lot either.
Oh, well, all right. So thinking short to midterm, what signals or
Mhm.
metrics are you honed in on at Digimentors to ensure client obsession translates to repeat business and referrals?
Yeah, we deliver excellence everywhere we can. That we want to under promise, over deliver, under promise, over deliver. And we talk about that all the time about how do we make sure we are reaching the right people, that we're able to have the principles that are going to make sure we succeed. What are the things that we have to think about? All of that we are constantly working on, and that has made a big difference. And there are so many tools and things that are constantly changing that it's kind of hard to keep up. But at the same time, I think there are a lot of opportunities for us to help people in various various ways. So we're excited about that.
Absolutely. And over deliver, under promise, that's a classic business principle.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yes, exactly. I mean, yeah, I did not invent that, but yes, that's what we definitely talk about how do we help more people and get what we want, get them what they need without having to worry too much about it. I have a slide of how we think about our business.
Mhm.
And if you saw it, I've never shared it publicly, but I'm going to share it so that you can make a screen grab of it so that you have it. And
Okay.
you'll see, if you can, I don't know if you can see it,
Yeah,
but,
I can see it.
so these are the things we say. We exist because of relationships. We honor them, we nurture them, we deepen them. Relationships are everything. We deliver excellence in our client work, consulting, production, training. We find and recruit the best possible talent we can afford. We prioritize calm skills, attitude, curiosity, track record, and a sense of humor. We hire people who don't look like us, meaning each of us should bring different people. And we say,
Mhm.
mind the gap, seek out folks who've been away from the workforce, like find people who are older, younger, etc. We keep our people engaged, productive, and happy. We pay consultants invoices within 15 days, even if the client hasn't paid us. We pay vendor invoices within 30 days. We do business development in any and every way possible. We look for ways to re-up our current clients, look for ways to re-engage former clients. We look for new revenue streams. We pay industry-leading referral and introduction fees. We
Mhm.
improve our own skills continuously through monthly workshops. And so we can help our clients. We collect every dollar owed to us on time and follow
Mhm.
up as needed. That's a lot of businesses let that go, and that's very hard. We listen
Mhm.
so we know what's new, what's important, and what can help the business. We communicate clearly with each other and the business committee and with Sree. Business committee is the kind of leadership team.
Uh,
Between under communicating and over communicating, choose the over communicating. And Sree loves surprising people, but not in the context of business communications. And we push
mhm.
things when we push back when things don't make sense for whatever the reason and at any team member. And number 13, we have fun. So that's kind of the Digimentors way as we think about what we are doing in this business. So I hope that helps and gives you a sense of what we do.
Absolutely, that does help. It's good. It's a great list of principles for both business side and the personal side for employees. So,
Yeah, yeah,
awesome.
exactly.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Of course. And I'd say since we're almost out of time here, what are you looking mo forward to the most in this coming year, 2026?
Well, improving my own AI skills, doing more workshops, helping people with AI. I believe anybody who has an audience of 5, 10 people to 1,000 people and they want to improve their AI, I can help you. Unless you're working in I can help you. But even some people who work in AI, they're so focused, they don't even see what else is out there. So my goal is to continue to help people and continue to work hard on behalf of our clients and our friends and our partners.
Awesome. And where can people find you or seek your services for if the
Sure.
audience is looking?
Thank you. That's a great question. We welcome that. So digimentors.group is the website, digimentors.group. You can also find me on LinkedIn. Please connect with me. I love connecting with folks on LinkedIn. Sree Sreenivasan. On IG, I'm Sreenet, Sreenet. And on Twitter, I'm at Sree, Sree. And my email address is sree@digimentors.group. Digimentors.group. Thank you for asking that. No, very few interviewers ask that. So I appreciate
Of course, you're welcome. And we'll also put those links in the description.
it.
So
Mhm.
that was great. Thank you very much, Sri. And yeah,
All right, we're done. Great. Thank you so
uh,
much. You were terrific, and I appreciate it.